accommodate simple things and also big things as well.
Make our homes safe spaces where children are able to talk, feel validated without being judged, because the young people want to be heard.
Every Thursday, 7:30 p.m., join me, Yvonne Kemunga, on Focus on Health to keep you abreast of these conversations right here on KUTV.
Right, good evening and many thanks for joining us tonight. 8 minutes past 9 o'clock. Don't worry, you are just right on time for the latest update in the world of politics, business and everything in between. Now, you are all familiar with the word like goon, or shall I say goonism. So, a quick education. So is a goon. According to Google, goon has different versions. So a goon is a hired muscle, political or street thug to a foolish person. That is according to the definition given by the Google. But one thing is for sure, their role is pretty much one and the same. So Kenya's political space is fast descending into a dangerous theater of intimidation where goons are being used to silence dissent, disrupt meetings and settle political scores. This is not this is not politics. It is a normalization of lawlessness. The country cannot afford a return to the dark days when violence was used as a political weapon. Leaders who recruit, fund, or deploy goons must be called out, while security agencies must stop watching from the sideline and act against perpetrators. Regardless of their political connections, democracy cannot survive where loudest voice is the one backed by a mob. And that is the discussion that we'll be having later on with my guest tonight as we dissect through the latest unfolding in the last 7 days. And my goodness, goonism is a menace and a madness that must be stopped by all means if we really want to move Kenya as a nation, regardless of the position, the political class, affiliation, whatsoever. Whoever is funding the goons must be brought to book. That discussion will be coming to you later on in our subsequent bulletin tonight, but this is what to expect in the next 1 hour or so.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
So tonight is just me and you, and of course we are coming to you live on YouTube, and you can tweet us on X at KUTV_Kenya at Auma Evans. Remember the hashtag to use, KUTV Primetime News. So tonight we begin with the latest. President William Ruto has defended his administration's health reforms, insisting that the government is addressing long-standing failures in Kenya's healthcare system. Speaking at the two-day health summit at Kenyatta International Convention Center, that is KICC in Nairobi, Ruto invoked Article 43 of the Constitution, saying his government is working to make health a reality for Kenyans. Auma is on that beat tonight.
While addressing leadership sector across the country, in the opening of the Kenya Health Summit at the KICC, President William Ruto subjected what he described as the old medical logic to scrutiny, questioning a system he said had for years focused on managing illness without adequately addressing access, prevention, and the financial burden on households.
That command informed the promise we made when I sought your mandate in 2022. Universal health coverage was one of the 5 pillars of our bottom-up economic transformation agenda, because economic empowerment means little when illness can wipe out a family's savings or push citizens into poverty.
While linking the reforms to Article 43 of the Constitution, which guarantees every Kenyan the right to the highest attainable standards of health, Ruto defended the Social Health Authority and other changes by his administration as part of efforts to give practical effect to that constitution guarantee.
Financing patients is only one side of universal health coverage. The other side is the facilities treating them, which must function. Through the Facilities Improvement Financing Act, public health facilities and all other facilities can retain and reinvest their revenues in medicines, equipment, and better patient care.
His position was backed by several leaders, with both leaders backing the need to the turn of constitutional provision into tangible services for citizens. The Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale referred to the history of Kenya's health system, suggesting that successful governments were aware of the gaps and challenges affecting Kenyans, terming President Ruto's administration reforms as a political ownership.
And when the transition proved difficult, as deep reforms always do, you did not retreat into silence. You went out and explained it publicly in every county in this republic. And that's why we're here today. Not because the Minister of Health is clever, but because this reform had a political ownership at the very top, sustained for 4 years, and the technical machinery built deliberately underneath.
The two-day summit now provides a platform to test whether those changes can deliver the health rights guaranteed under Article 43. Auma, KUTV.
Still matters politics. Linda Mwananchi leaders have continued to criticize the act of violence witnessed during Linda Mwananchi rally in Homa Bay County on 16th of August 2026 that led to the deaths of at least 2 people and several left-nursing injuries. Speaking at the Directorate of Criminal Investigation headquarters along Kiambu Road, Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino has accused Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga and Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament Peter Kaluma of allegedly sponsoring goons who attacked Linda Mwananchi team. Vincent Karoli reports.
Linda Mwananchi leaders have continued to condemn the attack. Speaking at the DCI headquarters along Kiambu Road, Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino accused Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga and Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament Peter Kaluma of allegedly sponsoring goons who attacked the Linda Mwananchi team.
Today we've seen goons in Homa Bay celebrating. You will see those clips. They are celebrating how they attacked our people, how they maimed and killed our supporters. So we still insist that Kaluma must be arrested and Wanga must be arrested. Hii maneno ya kucheza games and we know what is happening, hii ni upuzi mwingi sana.
So at least now we have established that we are required by the RCIO Nyanza, and that is in Kisumu. We are hoping that the police would not play any tricks.
Trans Nzoia County Governor George Natembeya has condemned the Homa Bay rally, accusing the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen and Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja of failing to address the alleged attack on the Linda Mwananchi team while calling for Kanja's resignation. Bumula Member of Parliament Jack Wamboka also questioned why Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament Peter Kaluma has not been arrested over his alleged insightful remarks, yet Philip Kagushia, the Member of Parliament from Mukurweini, was arrested over remarks targeting those who would not vote for former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
Sasa wewe Murkomen ambaye ni waziri wa interior, yale mambo ambayo yalifanyika, wewe utasema kwamba kwa wakati on my watch utakuwa proud kwamba such a thing happened that particular day on that particular day kule Homa Bay. It is part of your achievement ambayo siku moja utaambia wajukuu wako kwamba nikikuwa waziri viongozi karibu wao kule Homa Bay.
While responding to the allegations, Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament Peter Kaluma dismissed the claims, instead accusing Siaya Governor James Orengo and Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino of allegedly funding goons who disrupted the Linda Mwananchi team activities in Homa Bay.
August rally was solely funded by President Uhuru Kenyatta. To undertake that violence, Honorable Governor James Orengo, Babu Owino, recruited very dangerous criminals, most of whom are facing murder trials currently, most of whom are facing robbery with violence charges.
Peter Kaluma is expected to appear before the National Cohesion and Integration Commission (NCIC) on Wednesday, August 19th, after being summoned over his alleged insightful remarks. Vincent Karoli, KUTV.
Now, let's stay with that story for a bit. In the wake of tragic incident that resulted in the deaths of 2 individuals and left several others injured during the Linda Mwananchi rally in Homa Bay County, many Kenyans have voiced their concerns regarding the rise of violence. A section of Kenyans are now calling for decisive action against the growing trend of goonism. KUTV's Frederick Mahundu was in the nation's capital and filed the following report.
Days after alarming scenes were witnessed during the recent Linda Mwananchi rally in Homa Bay, there is a growing outcry among Kenyans regarding the rise trend of goonism in the country. Citizens are urging the government to enhance security measures nationwide to address these concerns.
Kaa sisi vijana wanafai watu pay security juu sisi ndo tunaenda kupiga kura, unaona. So wakitu au magunso wakituvuruga, ni sisi ndo tunaumia na ni sisi ndo tuliwachagua, so wanafaa watuweke security.
Aya, asante, karibu.
Nimeshukuru.
This collective demand highlights the urgent need for effective actions to ensure public safety and restore a sense of security within communities across Kenya.
Yo maoni yangu ni wana siasa waangalie pia vijana juu pia sisi tunatafuta, unaona. So kunini magoons watu vuruge si fiti hata kidogo, venye walifanya si poa.
Many Kenyans believe the violence is not just an outburst, but rather a carefully financed trend linked to certain political leaders.
So the issue of goonism must be blamed from both political divide. Starting with my governor in Homa Bay, in Siaya County, Governor James Orengo, superimposing with Governor Gladys Wanga. Because even those opposition leaders, they do carry goons. It's not a matter to be lying here. They carry goons to go to deter the progress and chase scapegoats in the names of the states. We know. And it is the mandate for the Interior Cabinet Secretary, Kipchumba Murkomen, to make sure that any political rally must be attended to without any fractures and divisive that is going to deter that progress.
The presence of luxurious vehicles and varied cache of weapons has fueled suspicion of deeper complicity.
Whatever transpired in Homa Bay was a well-instigated and finally orchestrated by some hooligans whom have been parading themselves as leaders of Homa Bay County. Starting with my area MP, George Peter Opondo Kaluma, a person who was caught live on cameras directing and redirecting goons on what they were supposed to be doing on 16th.
After what was observed in Olkalau, Nakuru, and very recently Homa Bay, it is very clear that goonism is on a worrying rise. As we near the 2027 general election, many Kenyans believe this is a major concern. The only question remaining is how will the government and security bodies position themselves to curb this worrying trend?
Alright, that story was produced by Frederick Mahundu and of course voiced by Yvonne Shirisha. Now, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua now claims that the unrest witnessed across the country is a plot by President William Ruto and the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission to postpone the upcoming general election. Speaking to Wiper Party delegates at his home in Wamunyoro, Gachagua insisted that the opposition will ensure it field a single candidate to face President William Ruto in the next year's general election.
Addressing delegates from the southern side of Mount Kenya and supporters of the Wiper Party, Gachagua linked the escalating unrest and public disorder to an alleged plan by President William Ruto to postpone the election date.
Hii violence ilikuwa Homa Bay na ile imefanyika kwingine is a trial run. Murkomen has been briefed to cause chaos in Kenya, make the country ungovernable, so that the IBC can postpone the general election for 2 years and William Ruto can continue to be in office for another 2 years because ameletewa data ya kwamba there is no way he can be elected.
Gachagua called on the international community to intervene, warning that the situation could deteriorate if President Ruto is not cautioned. He named Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga and Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo as alleged sponsors of the gangs that attacked the Linda Mwananchi group on Sunday.
So we're asking the international community to rein in on William Ruto. There is no way our partners, our development partners or our friends can allow instability in the Horn of Africa. The chaos being planned by Murkomen and Ruto will have a destabilizing factor in the whole region in terms of peace and stability. We are asking the American government, the British government, Germans, France, they intervened for us in the 90s.
The DCP leader also dismissed claims of divisions within the opposition, insisting that the opposition will settle on a single candidate who will go head-to-head with the President William Ruto in the presidential race.
I have every intention and plan to be the part of the winning team. The best way to win this election, the most definite, what I hear is called sure bet, is one single presidential car. I'm committed. And myself and my people will make whatever sacrifices necessary to make sure we have one presidential candidate.
At the same time, the former deputy president has vowed to pursue every avenue to establish the truth regarding the death of former Emurua Dikirr Member of Parliament, Johana Ngeno.
And the issue is, nimesema Ngeno aliuawa. Na tunataka Murkomen atoe CCTV pahali ndege iliwekewa mafuta. Murkomen, you must tell the Ngeno family, the people of Emurua Dikirr and the Kipsigis, what you know about the death of Ngeno. Kwanza nataka nifike kwa mamake mzazi Ngeno. Ndio ile maneno yote ninajua kwanza nimpatie kabla sijatangaza kwa Kenya.
With Gachagua having already appealed to the Court of Appeal the decision by the High Court to uphold his impeachment from office, he has vowed to continue criticizing the government and urged the Mount Kenya community to unite and ensure that the opposition secures between 6 to 7 million votes. Rajab Juma, KUTV.
Now from Nyoro to Gusiland. Now, Jubilee leaders from Kisii County under presidential aspirant Dr. Fred Matiang'i have dismissed claims that the Omugusi community lack the numbers to produce a president. Speaking at a political rally in Nyaguku village in Kisii County, the leaders said the community has sufficient numbers to influence the outcome of the 2027 presidential election, insisting they will move across Gusii region and other parts of the country to mobilize support for Jubilee Deputy Party leader Fred Matiang'i.
Nyamira mzima tukijaribu kuambia watu wetu kwamba tunatosha, kwamba Matiang'i anatosha, na wale ambao wanasema hatuna numbers, Morara Kebaso wamewaeleza sisi kama jamii Omugusi tuko na numbers.
Wenye wako United Opposition, wale wenzetu wenye wako chama zingine, wale wenzetu wenye wako Linda Mwananchi, tunawaomba ule mtu anaweza Kenya anaitwa Dr. Fred.
Right now, the launch of the People's Party of Kenya by Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has now ignited debate in the Democracy for Citizen Party. According to DCP Secretary General and Nyandarua Senator John Methu, the launch was orchestrated by President William Ruto himself with the aim of dividing the mountain. Edward Nyamu reports.
Membership of the People's Party of Kenya, we have today joined the opposition.
Just a day after the launch of the People's Party of Kenya, which officially joined the opposition, leaders have come out guns blazing, questioning the root source of the party.
Ukiangalia Kenya, na mimi nimepata nafasi na tazama na angalia kwa undani. Ile shida inakuba Kenya kwa sasa ya juu zaidi ni integrity of leaders, corruption and governance.
The party chair, who is Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro, affirmed his journey of joining the alternative government. However, Democratic for Citizen Party Secretary General John Methu rubbished the launch, stating it was expected.
One community, one party. One leader, Rigathi Gachagua, one party DCP, one community, Mount Kenya. He has now decided that to cut down this community to size, he thinks that he can take us the direction of 1992. I am sorry to you, Mr. William Ruto. These wheelbarrows that are coming up, all of them, we know them. First, we knew they are coming, and we know the others that are coming. We saw one that was launched yesterday, and we were waiting for it because we had been told that there's a wheelbarrow that is coming from Muranga. We knew that it was coming. So does not come to us as a surprise.
According to Methu, the plan to divide the mountain is in motion, with him linking the PPK party launch with the president, who he stated is on a mission and more is expected from him.
That you have a new wheelbarrow. We actually know that there is another wheelbarrow that is coming. We know that there is a wheelbarrow that is being prepared in Laikipia. I think the Onaika Mugu. We know there is another wheelbarrow that is being prepared from Nakuru and many other wheelbarrows that are coming. That is your strategy number 2. And we can even preempt what will happen because we know that after these wheelbarrows, you now introduce new presidential candidates from this region to try and divide this mountain. Let me give you very bad news. I don't know whether he's watching. Let me give you very bad news, Mr. William Ruto. Once beaten, twice shy.
The tensions now in the opposition continue to rise as we near the elections, with the factor of party playing a key role. As of now, the Linda Mwananchi team, which is also part of the opposition, has not yet settled on a party, and now DCP seems to distance itself from Nyoro, who is the latest leader to join the opposition. This, however, has been seen as a move from the DCP to ensure the mountain is united behind one party.
Just bring them on. Bring them on. And you know, these wheelbarrows are being registered overnight. Linda Mwananchi has been trying for the last 2 months to register a party, but it has been very difficult. But if you have a wheelbarrow, it can be registered. I hear that the registrar is sleeping at the office trying to register these wheelbarrows. They will be registered, many of them, because it's not very difficult. But we shall name them.
Key leaders in the opposition have proposed themselves for the top seat, with Nyoro being the latest, thus raising questions on the level of trust within the leaders, who all have different political interests.
Alright, now we are taking a very fast break here on KUTV, State of the Nation. And of course, just like I promised you, after this very short break, I'll be joined by my guest as we dissect through the biggest political events taking shape across the country. It has been quite a weekend, especially from the Homa Bay. The issue of goonism continue to hit headline for the wrong reasons. So tonight, we dissect the present state of the current affairs and what the future unfolds for Kenya ahead of the 2027 general election. See you on the other side of the break.
Naam, kila siku watu hutumia lugha ya Kiswahili katika kutagusana katika maisha yao ya kila siku. Si walimu, si wanafunzi, si wasanii, si wanabunge, wote kwa pamoja hutumia lugha hii tamu kamani ya Kiswahili. Jiunge nasi kwenye kipindi chako kipendacho cha Mawimbi ya Lugha kwenye runinga ambayo unaipenda sana, runinga ya KU. Tukikupa uhondo wa lugha ya Kiswahili, tukikudadavulia jinsi ambavyo Kiswahili kinaweza kutumika nyanjani na kote ulimwenguni. Jiunge nami na hodha wako Padironga, tukikupa mkupuo pamoja na kundi zima la wasanii na watu wengine wote ambao wanapenda lugha hii tamu kamani ya Kiswahili. Kila siku ya Jumapili saa 2, usikose.
Ophthalmology is a discipline where we normally take care of people and their eyes. The eye is a window to what's happening in your body that most patients or many patients don't even recognize that they have syphilis until they come to an ophthalmologist. But there are cosmetics which are available in the market which haven't gone through those rigorous processes, and they can cause issues to the eyes. So people have to be very careful with what they put on the eyelashes, what they put inside the eye. It's never too late.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4254.
Conversations on matters health are important for you. From the nitty-gritties of what it takes to take care of yourself on a daily basis to the policies that affect your well-being at a national level, we have all these conversations on one show.
In terms of the nose, we deal with the allergies, we deal with sinuses, and even nosebleed. Simple things and also big things as well.
Make our homes safe spaces where children are able to talk, feel validated without being judged, because the young people want to be heard.
Every Thursday, 7:30 p.m., join me, Yvonne Kemuma, on Focus on Health to keep you abreast of these conversations right here on KUTV.
is Jakub Petri. I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Ewa Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching Cutting Edge Research at Kenyatta.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Right, now welcome back to the State of the Nation, and of course this is our second segment of this, and this is where we talk about matters, politics and everything in between. My goodness, what a week we have had from the politics of Gunism. It's begun from Olkalau to Nakuru and all the way to Homa Bay. The fundamental question, however, remains: what are the authorities doing to curb the rising menace in the country? And of course, to help me unpack this discussion is my guest, Patrick Ngige, youth and governance advocate. Asante sana for making time. Well, the recent unfolding is something that has really, shocked a lot of people and continue to shock even the nation. The rise of Gunism. We have seen many political rallies and of course even politicians being targeted as a result of this, the rising menace of Gunism in the country. Where are we heading as a nation?
Okay, good evening, and thank you for having me. Mm-hmm. When we talk about Gunism, mm-hmm. it's actually not something new. Mm-hmm. It is something that has been happening for decades now in Kenya. Even when you look back at the 1991 multi-party, the fight for multi-party elections, mm-hmm. we saw that the government, there was state-led political violence. And essentially when you're talking about Gunism, it is political violence. Mm-hmm. It is just that now the term Gunism is the most popular at this particular time. And therefore, to answer your question, we are not headed in a good place as a country, because when we have political violence and the government is not doing adequately enough mm-hmm. to curb this menace, we are not heading in a good direction. Because looking back to the 2007-2008 elections, we had the post-election violence, and this was because the government did not put enough measures in place to prevent the violence from spilling over. Mm-hmm. And therefore, even headed into the 2027 elections, if the government does not put enough measures, mm-hmm. we are headed into a post-election violence.
All right. And this is what they say, a recipe for chaos. And we have a very good example that you can learn from. A nation that has been rocked with turmoil, political instability. I'm talking about Haiti. It began just the way we are doing in this case in Kenya. Gangs, politician deploying gangs, of course, as a sort of protection, and it morphosized from now being just the political goons all the way now to a country led and ruled by gangsters. Do you think, if you're not careful, maybe Kenya might follow the Haiti route?
When you talk about gangs, we have to put in mind that Kenya is not a special country. And therefore, whatever happened in Haiti can also happen here in Kenya. Because from recent reports, there are over 104 gangs in Kenya. And there might be more than that. Those are the reported numbers, 104.
All right.
And therefore, you find these gangs, they have financial support, they have logistical support, and mostly it comes from politicians and supporters of politicians who want to preserve that power and to protect the interests of the politicians. And therefore, if you're not careful to deal with these gangs, we can head the Haiti way. We are not a special country.
All right.
Yes, and the irony is that Kenya was part of a UN mission to end the chaos that are in Haiti.
All right.
But we are not doing introspection to look into our country.
All right. And of course, the traded accusation from each party. The opposition says the goons are being sponsored by the government. The government side blames the opposition for orchestrating goons in this manner. When you see the traded accusation from both sides of the divide, what does it tell about a nation that is governed by the rule of law, which is very supreme, because Kenya has a very robust constitution, and it clearly states how a country should be governed. When you look at all the unfolding that is happening, do you think probably we have really sunk so low as a nation?
Yeah, the blame game is to be expected. It's not out of the ordinary. That is it's the gameplay of the politicians. No one wants to take responsibility, either in the government side or in the opposition side. But we have to look at the government because the buck stops with the government. And therefore, you find the government is the one that has the institutions. It has the Kenya Police Service. It has the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. It has the EACC. It has the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. And as much as those are independent bodies, the government gives guidelines. And when there is political will, these institutions will work. And therefore, as much as there might be elements within the opposition that have goons, elements within the government that have goons, the buck stops with the government. It has to do more through the institution established by the Constitution. And to answer your question, when you look at the preamble of the Constitution, there are aspirations that have been set by the founders of the Constitution, and which the Kenyan people played a huge role. And therefore, one of these is the rule of law. And when we have goons and these criminal gangs in the country, we are seeing that there is a lack of rule of law. And the rule of law essentially is that the law needs to apply to everyone. Whether you're in government, whether you're in opposition, whether you're the president, the deputy president, it doesn't matter who you are. The law has to apply to everyone. And if you look keenly, you will find that it is only the small fish that get arrested. They are the ones who are taken to court, and at the end of the day, they get jailed.
All right.
But these big fish who do the financial, the logistical support, they are nowhere to be seen.
All right.
Yeah.
And talking about, the arrest, and this talks about the drawn-out nature of proceedings when it comes now to prosecuting the perpetrators of this heinous act. We have seen time and again very senior politicians in the country making a very reckless remarks that many believe this could ignite or even incite a community to rise against community, all in the name of depending on which side you come from, those from the government and of course those from the opposition. And of course, when you look at this all nature, the drawn out nature of proceedings, the institutions mandated with the responsibility of either investigating these cases and even arresting the offenders of this act, they drag in this quest for justice and trying to balance who is right and who is wrong. Does it really send some sort of fears to you as an ordinary Kenyan? Do you feel safe when the basic fundamental aspects of Article 26 that talks about freedom to life, we have Article 40 which talks about freedom from protection of property, all this when you see the act of goons, even some have lost their lives as a result. We have seen properties being damaged as a result. Does it really, send shivers to you as an ordinary person about the state of affairs right now?
Yeah, as an ordinary citizen, we have to be afraid, and you'll be fearful because one thing, you do not have the resources to protect yourself. Because when we are talking about an ordinary citizen, citizens come into a social contract with their government where they give up some of their rights so that they can be protected, so that we do not live in a scenario where it is survival for the fittest, or where there are no rules and the end justifies the means. And therefore, as a citizen, you cannot go to a political rally and be comfortable there because you do not know, will there be violence? Will the goons come to cause chaos? And I'm glad you have mentioned some of the articles. There's also this article 29C, which talks about freedom and protection of the person. It talks about the protection of an individual from public and private sources. When you're talking about goons, that is private sources of violence. And this is one thing that we do not get protection from enough. When you're talking about public sources, we have the police. Because there have been some instances where you find the police working hand in hand with the goons. And therefore the question is, are the police there to intimidate you, or are they there to protect you? If they are working with the goons, then who will protect the citizen?
Now, talking about protection, this raises a very fundamental question. We have seen time and again our head of state, President William Ruto, and even the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen issuing a very stern warning to goons and even their financiers, the perpetrators, that if caught, of course, they'll face the full force of the law. This, to some extent, should serve as some sort of relief to Kenyans who worry about the rising act of goonism in the country. But it is like, we are coming from one act to another, and it keep on going. Who knows what next? And even the institutions like the NCIC, a very body that has been mandated with the responsibility, of course, of investigating all these acts. Do you think this institution, to some extent, are toothless dog, if I may say?
Yeah. When we talk about the NCIC, the problem with NCIC is that it deals only with civil matters. And therefore, when a matter extends to criminality, its mandate ends there. And therefore, here is where the DCI comes in, the National Police Service comes in. And therefore, you have talked about the president, the cabinet secretary, saying that we will deal with goons to the full extent of the law. But words alone cannot work. Because for one thing, you find that people in the political camp of the president, for example, right now there are allegations against some members from Homa Bay, some members of parliament from Homa Bay, about sponsoring the violence that was witnessed during the weekend in Homa Bay. But even on the opposition side, we have allegations against, let's say, Honorable Kagushia, because of the remarks he made. So you find that as much as words are being spoken, those words are not enough. We need to see action. And as I had mentioned earlier, we cannot deal with goonism if we are just looking at the small fish. Because before we reach the person who throws the stone or picks a stick to beat someone, we have a chain behind that person. We have the person who finances, we have the person who provides transport, we have the person who provides the weapons that will be used, and we have the person who mobilizes.
Okay.
So the person who goes to throw the stone is the last person, or is the last link of that chain. And therefore, if we do not deal with this whole chain, there's nothing we are doing.
All right, even as we wind up, what does it take to end this madness completely?
Yeah. So there are a few things that we need to look at. For example, goonism is just a symptom. it's not the disease. The disease, I would say, one is the lack of credible national values, because for us, national values have just become a suggestion, but we do not implement them, or they are not inculcated into us. Because for a value, it has to be new. For example, I don't know if you watch football. During this recent World Cup, if you watch after the Japanese, when the Japanese had a game, after that match, their fans were collecting rubbish and litter from the stadium, and it's not their job. So in Kenya, we have to ask ourselves, which national values do we look at? The second thing is the youth unemployment. It is a very, very major issue, and it is something that will explode in the future if it is not well looked into. Because you find that, for example, from statistics from the Kenya Bureau of Statistics and from the Federation of Kenyan Employers, you find that over 1 million youths or young people get into the job market every year. But only 20% get into formal employment, and 80% are in the informal employment. So for us to deal with this and the poverty that is within Kenya, we have to invest so much in the informal sector.
All right. Thank you so much for making time to shed some light into this very important discussion about the state of the nation. And of course, tonight we are focusing, or rather tilting our lenses to the ongoing madness in the country, the issue of goonism that is really disturbing a lot. And it is a disturbance that the government itself, as things stand, it's fair to say, has failed to address this particular issue. And of course, this is a progressive discussion, and we'll continue having this discussion. Asante sana Patrick Ngigi for making time to shed this very important light to this very important discussion.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next, sports. All right, now it's time to take a look at the latest unfolding in the world of sports. Now, Bandari FC have signed Lawrence Auma from SEK, that is in Finland. That will in Finland from SGK Sinoka Club from Finland rather. Auma made headlines as the first Kenyan to score at the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations, and now he returns to Kenya to join Bandari FC, as is expected to bring a formidable attack at the beginning of the new season that starts on the 22nd of August 2026. All right, and now matters rugby. The 2026 National Rugby Sevens circuit now heads to Mombasa for the Driftwood Sevens, scheduled for 22nd to 23rd August. KCB, who have made an impressive start to the season, winning both the Prinsloo Sevens in Nakuru and the Kabeberi Sevens at the RFUEA grounds in Nairobi, will now be aiming to maintain their strong form and make another formidable start at the Driftwood Sevens in Mombasa. Meanwhile, Cabras will be looking to bounce back and improve their performance following their disappointing outing at the Kabeberi Sevens, among other teams set to make their mark in the Driftwood Sevens. All Right, so that's all we had prepared for you this particular evening. Many thanks for the men and women behind the scene and for all those who made this production a success. Asante sana for making time, and as always, let's do this next time by the grace of God. Same place, same time. Bye bye for now.